It's a story I thought I'd never have to break today. Yeah, the breaking news is that the best manager in Scotland has had an approach, and it looks like he might be leaving Scottish football. Yes, Michael Beale is leaving Rangers, and he's going to Prissy. No, he isn't. Anyway, the Leeds manager's job is all everyone seemed to be talking about yesterday. Even people were still going on about it. Even the fact that Celtic basically said he's going nowhere. Leeds United, the Daily Record, are still pushing the fact that other managers have turned down Leeds. They're still pushing the fact that Leeds might still come for Ange Postecoglou. What has Ange Postecoglou got to do to basically say? Anyway, Ange Postecoglou, what is he? Oh, Celtic, let's talk about that. The club took something of a gamble with the former Australian team manager when they gave him his first job in European football. He has ambition, and that's not been hidden since his time with Yokohama F. Marinos in Japan's J-League. Supporters stood behind him after a rocky start, and let's face it, everybody was a bit negative when he first came in. Weren't convinced that Ange Ball was going to be a thing, and there was even talk of him being out before Christmas that season. But yeah, Celtic turned the corner and went on to win the league in his first season. At some point, Postecoglou will move on, but he will want it to be on his terms, and when his stock's high. Interest from Leeds is not going to be on his radar. You know, we're not going to lose him to someone like Leeds, like we lost Rodgers to Leicester. Let's face it, Leicester are one of the biggest clubs out there. They won the league once, but you know, I would have thought as well that Brendan would have went to a bigger club, but he didn't. The first chance he got, he jumped down south, which is something he always wanted to do. Should Celtic now reward Ange Postecoglou with a bigger contract and bigger terms, or a financial package that will make him realise his ambitions at the club and show that the club are really standing behind him? We know the fact that DD brought him into the club and he had his first interview with him and he recommended him to the board. He basically told the board, nail this guy down. And I think the fact that he's not going to be going to Leeds. People can talk about it all they want. Alan Brazil was even pumping his gums yesterday. You have to remember, Alan Brazil was the one who stayed on Go Radio or whatever it was. They said that it was a complete joke, and who was this guy? But he's hoping that he doesn't go to Leeds. Look, he's never going to go to Leeds. He was never going to go to Leeds. It's just not happening. When you look at some of the blogs down south, nobody's even talking about Ange Postecoglou being in the frame. It all seems to be the Scottish media and anybody that's anything to do with Scottish football, especially for the Sevco half, are desperate for Ange Postecoglou to leave Celtic and go down south. So there was lots of comments yesterday. First up in the comment section today is John Hamilton. He says Ange is playing for the love of the game. Well, he's at a team he loves. Maybe after a couple or three of successful seasons with Celtic, Ange will move on to new challenges down south. He wants to be at Celtic and bring trophies to Celtic Park just now. Money and the EPL will be there after he's done his job, getting success in Europe with the team he has in his heart. John, I think he'll be here for a good few seasons. I think he does have a plan for Celtic, and I think that money isn't the main objective for Ange Postecoglou just now. I think he will be getting well looked after at Celtic. Powercord went on to say, don't be harsh. Barry was kind enough to ask to give Raskin a haircut. User went on to say, Celtic, Ange and us Tims live rent-free in the zombies' heads. It is delightful. Yep, and you even get some of them commenting on, even on the community tab, which is funny because the community tab doesn't come up in your feed. So they obviously have to click onto the channel to find the community tab. James went on to say, Ferguson opens his mouth again, always talks a load of rubbish. I think the fact that we do live rent-free in the zombies' head and they can't wait, and he even says that lots of Rangers fans would love the fact that if Ange Postecoglou was to leave and go down south. Kevin went on to say, Mr. Beale should concentrate on his own zoo. Big Ange, when he speaks, talks about Celtic and Celtic only. It is only when someone has a dig that he responds, and this is very true. The fact that they do mention us quite a lot, and even the media are cracking up the fact that we're playing them in a couple of weeks, which is a bit disrespectful to the team that we're playing this weekend, and then Aberdeen also next week. The next one, Joseph Docherty, we must mention Barry. Why must we mention Barry? He just talks absolute garbage and can hardly string a sentence together. Patricia Foy says, it just shows it's getting to them. Of course, he could not wait to get rid of Big Hinky. He couldn't wait to get rid of Big Chrissy and Martin O'Neill, among others. Hail, hail. So on that note, I think we'll call it a day with the Celtic FC news. There's going to be a game this weekend. What do you think the score will be tomorrow at Celtic Park?
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party.